Hello everyone. Are you still awake? So I thank you so much, for inviting me, and I try to be entertaining as much as possible. So we already hear about the future for the last session and also in the morning. I would like to take everyone back to the past. So what I'm going to talk about is the space that I've been working with for the almost 20 years. It is the name is Jim Thompson Art Center and also the Jim Thompson House Museum. So if anyone have been to Thailand, you may have seen the big kind of silk shop, around Suvarnabhumi Airport or everywhere in Paragon. So that was part of the legend, but actually it was not part of our kind of art organization. So I joined the Art Center since 2007, and when I work with the private foundation like the Jim Thompson House Foundation and Jim Thompson House Museum, so we have to align with the mission, which is in our case, the supporting Thai art and culture. So what's interesting is that the museum is broad enough for us to interpret and to rethink and also to push forward. What does it mean? And it gives us a room to connect and with the urgency of contemporary art today without losing the sight of where we're coming from. So actually, so what we're thinking is, to join this forum about the future, So since we are working with this traditional house of Jim Thompson, but before we move on, I want to explain to you who is Jim Thompson. And actually, Jim Thompson, or James S.W. Thompson, is an American entrepreneur who came to Thailand in 1946 as a U.S. military officer. He's working in the Office of Strategic Service, or OSS, which is a forerunner of the CIA. And he settled down in Bangkok in 1950s and also built this house, a very beautiful traditional Thai house. And he started the company, the Thai Silk Company, which later people know it as the Jim Thompson Company. And he disappeared mysteriously in Malaysia in 1967, and he never come back. So this is a photo from Jim Thompson Archive. And this house is built on the canal opposite of the Jam Muslim community, which is right in the heart of Bangkok. It's around the Siam Square area. And this is the house at the moment. We receive about 300,000 visitors a year, and we were like top 5 tourist attraction in Thailand. And since its inception and the construction in 1950s, the board has been concerned with the maintenance and conservation of the house because it's all teak wood, and some of them has been about 200 years from. The house has been kind of collected and bought from Jim Thompson, who was trained as an architect, and he bought 6 houses altogether, and he reassembled and also rebuilt it as a traditional time. It's kind of like, for me, I see it as an interpretation of the Thai house by American architect. So for Thai people, they always say, oh, this is not authentic. Of course, it's not authentic because in the traditional Thai house, they don't have a living room, dining room, or, this studies room. So I think it's quite interesting to see, like when the house has been built since the 50 years ago. So we began to concern about, not only the earthquake or weather, but also the fire, right? And then the board began to collaborate with the Department of Architecture at Chulalongkorn University to archive the museum and its building using the CMP, or the Conservation Management Plan methodology to conduct by Dr. Vimon Rat and her team. So at the House Museum, we use the Building Information Modeling, or BIM, is being employed to support the ongoing conservation and archiving efforts. The initiative is carry in collaboration with the multidisciplinary team that include members from the Department of the Architecture School, alongside with the conservations as well as technology experts. So the project began with the details, the documentation of the museum structures, using layer scannings and photogrammetry and also manual surveys. So these methods generally highly accurate 3D points, clouds, and imagery capturing the current condition of the house, the historical teak woods building, and also the surrounding landscape. So based on the data, the team develops a comprehensive BIM models that reconstruct every architecture's elements, materials, and construction details. So more than just a 3D visualization, the model serves as an evolving database. So it's designed to embed information about each component's physical properties, historical significance, conservation treatments, as well as the acre's requirement monitoring. So at the present, what happened is the team is checking from this the BIM the models. They're checking the accuracies of each kind of objects, and if every single teak woods, from the house, where it comes from, and etc. So we still, the team is still in the progress of inputting more accurate data information into the BIM models and developing the comprehensive conservation master plan. And what we want to do is we just wanted to create the living archive, so meaning that it is ongoing project. So in terms of analyzing every single woods, where it's come from. So for example, at the beginning in the living room area, we thought it come from the Ban Kruo community, which is the Muslim community across the canal. It's around 200 years ago. And then after the researchers kind of study, actually it was not come from there. It's from the temple. So this is quite interesting information. And we thought that, it's really, it's totally a kind of ongoing process. So what we are doing, not only the archive of the house, we also have a lot of archival materials of Jim Thompson himself. For example, the letters and also a lot of photography and drawings, as well as the books and his personal letters. So we also have one very important documentary films, which is made after he disappeared in 1970s, and I got a very bad condition of the 16 millimeters film, and it was in the vinegar syndrome, so it could not be safe, even though I was asked the Thai Film Archive. So I thought that, but luckily we have the beta copy, so now we managed to digitize it, and we also have a kind of exhibition of the historical archive, and this is the first time that we show our archive to the public. And we also, during the COVID time, we also invite a lot of local artists to do kind of interaction and also intervention with the house. So this is the first project by video artist Kavita, and her work is about she using her body, and critiquing the textile industry business. And I think it was really interesting that the board allowed us, to use the space, in terms of not only preserving the past, but it's also allow us to intervene and also kind of impose this kind of critical discourse, in the house. And right now it's more open, to artists not only Thai but international. So at the Atscenter, we have been started in 2003, and because of the urban planning problem, actually the Bangkok administrations, they were going to build the expressway, along our area, and if this project happened, one of the column of the expressway will go to the living room of the Jim Thompson House Museum. And the problem of our foundation is we are not allowed to engage in the political activism. So the Muslim community next door, they started to protest. So we don't know how to, engage with this kind of, the protest. So we supported them to, we give them the grant, to write the history about this community. And we make a very interesting book, of this 200 years of Ban Krua community. On the other hand, the board also wanted to start the gallery for textile and art. So this is the beginning of Jim Thompson Art Center. So I joined them in 2007, and I really proposed them that we wanted to engage with not only the immediate or ready-made audience, which is tourists, because at Jim Thompson House Museum, almost 90% are tourists and very, very small amount of Thai people. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to not only serve the tourists, but we want to engage with local community as well as the arts community around the world. So that's why we shift the focus. And also, in the past, the program always kind of alternate the show, something like the Asia Society. We do both traditional show and also contemporary art. And for us, we would like to shift totally to contemporary art. And it took us about 10 years, to do that. And then for 2018, we built the new building because we have more audience. And I think in the past, Jim Thompson is very exclusive, when everyone wants to show the work, and they're trying to approach us, and we were like, we don't accept any kind of proposal, just wait for us, and we are going to invite you. So this time we were thinking of having something more like open, and then we do call for entries. So what we want to engage with Jim Thompson is not only about textile history, but we wanted to work with the context, which is the Cold War, and also the geopolitics, and cultural diplomacy. So this is how we start to engage with the new building. So we got a lot of proposals, from around the world, and then we select more than 10 projects, to show. The first exhibition we call Future Tense, and this is, and currently we just celebrate 50 years of our foundation. And what we do is we trying to explore the remnants of the Cold War in terms of, not only from Southeast Asia and Thailand perspective, but we wanted to connect with the post-communist country, especially in Eurasia. So we have artists like Kazakhstan, and also some of the collectives based in Poland, but it's called Sputnik Photo Collective. And this collective is quite interesting because they invited all those young artists from post-Soviet country to do a photograph and documentary about the remnants of the post-Soviet country. And this is the project that I think it's quite interesting for us, to kind of looking at the past, and then of course, what is happening right now is not only the Cold War, it's totally like a hot war, and all people call it new Cold War, right? And then what happened in the house, we invited artists from the northeast part of Thailand. He did a lot of kind of exploration and research about the region, because in the 60s and 50s and 60s, that region was the base of American camps. So there's so many traces and remnants, of the Cold War in that part. So we invite him to do an intervention in the house, and what he did was he was looking at the aerial map, which is created by the U.S. military, and they used Thailand as a pilot project before they went to Vietnam. So this is how we started to kind of, and it was the period that Jim Thompson was there, and he was working with the U.S. military as well. And when you go to the house, that we have a tour guides, right, in different language, but they never talk about the political part of Jim Thompson. And for us, I think it is our job, to really retrieve those kind of narrative, into actually is a kind of is part of his reality, right? And I think this is quite interesting. And then at the Jim Thompson Art Center, we have another artist, the Muslim artist who was born in the Ban Kro community. So we invited her to explore the relationship between the house and her community. And on the left-hand side, there was a project by the first one on the top right. The top left is the collective from Indonesia, Hyphen. And this group, they did a research about the Bandung conference. But it was quite interesting because they did not go through the Bandung conference from the political point of view, but they researched about the people who was part of the Bandung conference, who arranged the flowers. And I think it was very beautiful, to look at very, very small and detailed kind of narrative and the major important Global South kind of conference in 1955. And then the other piece is by Naeem, he's Bangladesh, and his work is about, about non-aligned movement, which is a connection with the Bandung and non-aligned in 1970s. So this is what we show, and also we have another 9 artists in Bangkok Art Center. So this is the first time that we collaborate with our neighbors and also with the Ban Kro community. So we got a work by Din Kule, who was, we borrowed from Mori Art Museum, and he interviewed the army artist from the north who changed his lifestyle and working into more expressionist. And then this is a project by the artist from Kazakhstan. Her name is Almakun, and her work is about, going to the former nuclear test site. The project is called Kherchatov, and it's a secret code, it was the nuclear test site in the northwest of Kazakhstan. So we also have a lot of multiple programs, especially with the talks and public program, which we plan to do it throughout the exhibition, which is gonna be 4 months. So if you guys, any one of you go to Bangkok, you can contact me. We're gonna have a lot of program, not only the talks and discussion, but we will have a film festival focused on the propaganda films, from not only only Thailand on the free words, but we wanted to show something from the communist world as well. So this is what we're trying to activate the archive, not only from our own archive, but from others, people and also organizations. And most of the artists that we show is totally, most of them focus on research and archival materials. So this is what I mean by, this is a kind of message that we wanted to send to the future, if we think about the future, especially in the museum, right, we have so many collections as well as materials, as well as narrative, like what kind of narrative and what kind of materials that we wanted to forget and what we want to pass to the next generation. So I hope to see you in Bangkok. Thank you very much.